Alright guys, so I'm gonna make this quick little video just for all of those that have questions, and I've been asking questions about how this is set up when you do the conversion from automatic to manual. The first thing I'm gonna start with is to hold the shift linkage up. These two bolts right here are usually welded on the standard chassis. On the automatic chassis it's not, so the dents are already there, so all you have to do is drill through and get a longer nut and bolt to hold the shift linkage up. The part that you have to cut in order for the shift linkage to fit and to get the automatic cables out is right here. So you don't have to cut the whole tunnel out. It's literally an oval shape like this that needs to get cut out. If you look on my previous video, you'll see that's the part that Angel was having trouble getting off. So you take that off, and that's the only two modifications you have to do on this end for the shifter. As far as the electrical goes, to rewire it, some people cut it here. My cousin actually did this for me, and he just cut everything on the automatic shifter side so it stays plug and play. All of these wires you don't need. The only 4 wires you have to worry about is this green and black and this yellow and gray one right here. These are for your reverse lights. So you take these 2 wires, right? You add some wire to it and bring it all the way to the engine compartment, and I'll show you in a second where that has to go. The other 2 wires you have to connect so that the car thinks that it's in neutral to start are these 2 really thick black wires. Now you can run these 2 wires to your clutch safety switch if you want the car to start like a normal car and you have to press the clutch in. I didn't want it like that. I wanted to be able to start the car just by, you know, turning the ignition. So that's what this is right here. So you just jump them together and the car will start with no issues. All these extra wires, you just tape them off because you're not going to need them. And these plugs right here are irrelevant. You don't need those also. The third thing you need to do is inside of the ignition switch. There's a little key or a piston that's inside of this module that needs to come out. Once again, my cousin did that, so I didn't see exactly how he did it, but once you take it apart, or if you look at my previous video, a couple people asked questions and I left a link to the Honda Tech tutorial that I used to do this swap. As far as the stuff that you need for this swap, it would be the clutch pedal. I decided to change all the pedals. You don't need to, but if you want to, the only thing you have to change is, you know, put the clutch pedal in. The only reason I changed all of them is because the automatic brake pedal is going to be over here. So there's going to be a possibility that when you go to press the clutch, you might hit the brake pedal at the same time, and I didn't want that. So I changed everything over, seeing as I had a 99 Civic EX as a donor car. So I pulled everything out of that car. I went on eBay and I bought, what was it? I bought the clutch master with the stainless steel line with the slave cylinder. And as far as the motor mounts go, you can use the automatic motor mounts, but you're gonna need the transmission mount, which is from the standard model. You're gonna need the manual transmission, the speed sensor, which is right there from the manual car. The back T-bracket is exactly the same, so you don't have to worry about that. This is the only bracket that you're gonna need right here, which is the one that holds the transmission up in order to be able to mount the transmission. As you can see here, and those 2 wires that I showed you previously, they come like this and they mount right here, and this goes, where is it? It's hard to see. All right. So it goes to the only sensor that's on the actual transmission, which is right here. I don't know if you could see that. So it's right next, it's literally right next to the starter. There's a sensor that goes right there, and that's your reverse sensor so that your reverse lights come on. It doesn't matter what order you connect the wires, it just needs to complete a circuit. So just run those, the green and the yellow wire over here, and that'll work perfectly fine. As far as the computer, I used a 96 Civic LX computer, which is the P2P or P2E, sorry, right there. So that's the computer I used, and I apologize right now because I believe I told somebody that asked previously that I used the P2P, so it's actually the P2E computer that I used. But yeah, here you go, so you guys can see it once again. And I'll just see if I can find right now in the garage the part that was taken off. It should be over here somewhere. How is it? I thought it was over here. What the hell? Oh, here it is. We'll come back out in the sun so you guys can see. Alright, so this is the part right here that you have to take off. So this sits right where that plate is underneath the car. That's the only thing that you need to cut out in order for this swap to function, because if this stays there, your shifter rods are going to end up hitting this, and you don't want that. So just cut this off. It's going to be a pain in the ass because this is it's just like I said in another video, it's riveted here, spot welds, and it's also glued on, so it's very hard to come off. But once you take this off, you'll be all set. As you guys can see, the black painted interior still holds up, you know, perfectly fine. The door panels are done. I only pulled this all apart so that you guys could see it. Now I'm gonna put it back together, and I'll show you how the car starts without the clutch pedal being pushed down. You just have to be careful because I've already done it a couple times and I forget that I put the car in first gear, and I'll go and, you know, reach in the car, just start it real quick because I'm checking something, and next thing you know, the car tries to take off on me. For those of you that are interested in doing these Yonaka solid mounts, I'm gonna forewarn you right now, your whole car is going to vibrate like crazy, but it will improve your throttle response, and your shifting is gonna be on point. Like, the only way you're gonna miss a shift is if you literally just don't know what you're doing. And as you can see right down there, the red where is it? See the red bushings down there? I did the energy suspension, or yeah, energy suspension or energy polyurethane bushings on there, and that's there, and on the bottom of the car where it holds up the actual shifter. That improved a lot, and between that and the short shifter, I think I paid $10 off of eBay. A lot of people knock eBay, but you know, I haven't had any issues with it. Even the 6-puck XTD clutch that I bought, I thought it slipped on me the other day, and come to find out, I just didn't have the clutch adjusted accordingly. So I wanted the car to feel very aggressive, and I adjusted the rod that's attached to the clutch pedal up there. You can't really see it, but it's attached to this, and it's attached to the clutch master, and you can thread it in and out. And what I did is I threaded it all the way down, and I set the clutch sensor up here you know, to hold the clutch pedal down here. So what was happening at high RPM shifts, when I would shift and let go of the clutch, it wasn't disengaging the clutch all the way. So it slipped on me once on the highway, and I'm like, oh, you know, eBay crap. And no, wasn't the case. I just honestly on my behalf fucked up. Yeah, so hopefully this answers your questions for the stuff you need. Also, you will need the flywheel bolts from a manual transmission, because the automatic bolts that hold the torque converter are too short. So you will need the manual flywheel bolts. Besides that, you know, everything is going to be plug and play. The axles are the same, the mounts are the same, besides this transmission mount. Yeah, you can use your automatic computer. The car will turn on and it will run, but I'm letting you know right now, you're gonna have check engine lights. The idle's gonna be all screwed up. For those of you that asked about the idle air control, as you can see, I'm still running the regular idle air control valve. The only reason you need to switch over to the one that's on the Y8 intake manifold is if you use the Y8 intake manifold and you're planning on putting a VTEC head. If you don't have a VTEC head and you don't have a Y8 intake manifold, don't worry about it. If you want to run the Y8 intake manifold, you can. All you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to reuse this throttle body that's on here, because the idle air control valve is attached to the throttle body. So all you would have to do is swap over the Y8 manifold, take this throttle body, put it where the Y8 one would go over here, and just make these two hoses that are going to the idle air control valve longer, and make them reach over here where, you know, the natural position would be for a Y8 manifold. From what I've heard, you definitely get a little bit, you know, I don't know if it's more power. It's, you know, you get a better reaction out of the car because it's definitely flowing better than this crappy manifold. But in the future, if I end up keeping this car, which I've done way too much work to get rid of it on it, you know, with all the suspension and making it standard and all this stuff, I'm gonna possibly be doing a motor swap on it. And the motor swaps I'm gonna be doing are, you know, they're most likely not gonna be a B series, so, or a D series, so I'm not even gonna bother messing with that manifold or anything. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity to be able to completely swap this car over. You know, hopefully it'll be either a H or a K series, but you know, that all depends on finances and how stuff ends up working out. So like I said, if you guys have any questions, just let me know. I'll try to answer it or make you another video explaining what you want to know. Thank you. Alright, I actually almost forgot I was going to show you guys this. So as you can see, you know, car's in neutral, key in the ignition, no foot on the pedal. So I also got this cluster out of the car that I took all the parts off of, so no more automatic stuff over here in the corner. And yeah, that's it. No check engine light or anything, as long as you use the proper computer. Also, keynote, if you don't take that mechanism out of there, you will not be able to pull the key out of the ignition. So that's definitely a must do for the mechanism that's inside of there. Yeah. So like I said, any questions, let me know.